Oh, are we back for another story? I should expect so. If you're listening, then have I got a tale for you? As you should well know by now, there are countless realms out there, of dark and light, and hazy grays in between. And our story today takes place in one of those far-off places. Deep within the confines of the demon realm, there lies a kingdom. This kingdom is overcome by tyranny. Its ruler, the Black Iron King, a man whose strength, dominance, and destructive capabilities allowed him to slaughter his way to rulership of his land, slowly engulfing all of the kingdoms around, small though they may be alone. Eventually, he gathered them all until his own kingdom rivaled that of nearly any other, now large enough to stand amongst the four great kingdoms that preside over the demon realm. But the Black Iron King is only a player in this tale. In all honesty, it all truly begins with a woman, far from the terrifying visage of the Black Iron King's dark palace, a castle built of gray stone and mortar, from which one can constantly see the billowing flames of the hellscape that surrounds its lands. There is a woman, a beautiful woman, as is common with her very nature. However, even amongst the fairly well-known beauties that those of her race tend to sire, she was seen as the most beautiful among them, known as Romera, and dubbed the most beautiful siren, though the sirens themselves are a race that is looked down upon. There are very few within the demon world who did not at least value their beauty, if nothing else, and she dawned with a radiance that impressed all. The sound of her voice sent men's heart aflutter, and her performances had become renowned throughout the land. With very few who did not desire to see them, she had begun making a great living as a performer, giving song and dance to her audience in order to provide for herself. Though the low status of sirens was viewed as somewhat of a curse, the popularity of her performances allowed her to support herself and those that followed behind her. But not all eyes that gazed upon her were well in intention, for eventually she gained the gaze of the Black Iron King himself. Stricken by her beauty, the Black Iron King made to her an offer of marriage. But truth be told, it was all but an offer, more of a ruling. All that knew of the Black Iron King knew of his cruelty. He was not a man to be turned down. While she had been able to turn away all other suitors who wanted her just as a plaything, turning down the Black Iron King was not truly an option. His rage, malice, and cruelty was well known to all. If she did not accept his proposal, become one of his many, many wives, then the chances are that he would have her killed, enslaved, possibly even target other sirens or family members, kill anyone that she ever knew or cared about. No discouraging or disgusting act was beneath getting him what he wanted. Understanding this thoroughly, she had no choice but to accept, and so became the 34th wife of the Black Iron King, ruler of the lands of despair. After being taken in, she was of course treated much the same as any of his wives, taught how to behave, when to speak and when not to, how to dress, where to be and when to be there, all of the rules and structures that he expected of the wives that fell under his control. And as one could expect, eventually, like many of the Iron King's other wives, she became with child. However, it is the curse of the sirens that one can only ever expect the offspring of a siren to be a siren themselves. And so too it was that her firstborn child, a boy, was born as his mother before him, a siren, forever beyond the upper echelons of demonic power that exist within the demon world. Truly, he had right of succession, just as all of the Black Iron King's other children. However, had the great disadvantage of being a siren, while all of his half-brothers and sisters grew to high-level demons. He would only ever be a siren, incapable of wielding the type of power that high-level demons are capable of maintaining. So, though he was in all aspects a prince, any hope of truly becoming a successor to his father before him was dashed the moment he was born a siren. As the boy grew up in the Black Castle, in the land of despair, it was made ever present and apparent to him that among all of his half-brothers and half-sisters, he was the one looked down upon, viewed as lower than all others, without true right, bullied relentlessly, and told on a regular basis of his weakness, his inferiority to them. And though this filled him with a great measure of resentment, somewhere deep within him, more than anything, for whatever the reason be, he wished to gain the respect of his father, to be seen as a worthy successor, no different than his brothers and sisters, of which there were many. All he truly desired was a fair chance, and so, despite expectations that he would be of no use, unable to truly succeed his father, or be given the option, he elected to undergo training, just as all his brothers and sisters did. Despite the ever-present mocking, though he began training, in comparison to his brothers and sisters, he was fiercely outmatched. He had been training for nearly a year, and yet there was not a single member amongst his brothers or sisters whom he could actually beat, or even truly stand a chance against. Again and again he was beaten, at every test, in every duel and combat session. His half-brothers and sisters delighted in shaming him with defeat and mockery time and time again. And what infuriated him more than anything was the fact that his teachers paid little attention to him, preferring instead to spend their time teaching children who they believed actually had promise. They taught him only the bare essentials, and nothing else. He struggled to get them to truly act as the teachers they were meant to be. However, they only laughed, saying that even if he told his father that they neglected him, did not train him properly, it wouldn't matter. It's not as if he actually had any real chance of succeeding as father. He was simply there as a byproduct of the fact that the Black Iron King liked having many toys, until one day he could bear it no longer. It was on this day that all of his brothers and sisters, and all of the other wives of the Black Iron King, were gathered, as his children would make requests of him. Some would ask to display their strength and ability, to be given task and rank within military, or to boast about the accomplishments that they made after being placed, and many other such things. But in this event, for the first time, he stepped forward as the Black Iron King loomed on his throne, with the wives and children lined to each side of the room, as everything was drawing to a close and everyone was preparing to leave. He stepped forward. "Father," the boy said, stepping towards the center of the room, kneeling down before the throne. "I wish to make a request," the boy said, his head bowed low, as chuckles began to emit from nearby. "The siren wants to make a request. What a waste of time," the children nearby uttered, as even their parents, their mothers, laughed vigorously, before the Black Iron King raised his hand. "That's enough. Speak now, boy. What is it that you want?" "I have heard that there are teachers out amongst the world who have unique skills that might be able to train me in these unique abilities and combat skills. In order to further my tutelage, I wish to be given right to travel there, so that my strength might honor you, Father," the boy said, still too frightened to raise his head, as the children and women standing to the side struggled to hold in their laughter as they smiled at him. "So, you wish to honor me with your strength?" the Black Iron King replied. "Very well, boy. You may do as you wish. I, the King of the Lands of Despair, hereby grant you, Salus, my 64th child, clearance, journey to the lands outside, learn these skills, and grow strong, if you can. I will have official pass work done and a seal created so that you may return once your training is completed. But I expect results, boy. If you come to me after your training, no stronger than you are now, then you will be punished. It is herefore set forth that upon your return, you will face challenge if you are unable to defeat even the weakest of your brothers and sisters. Upon your return, then you will be banished, your name stricken from record, and all right to succession stripped away. If you accept this, then you may go." Salus gritted his teeth for a moment. Of course, he thought to himself, this is the perfect opportunity to get rid of me forever if I'm of no use. But I'll show him. I'll show him that I'm worth it, that I can be strong. Salus thought to himself as he finally lifted his head back towards his father. "Yes, Father, I accept. I give you my word. I will not return here until my strength truly honors you," Salus said, as he finally returned to a standing position, walking away from the throne and making his way back towards his mother's side, now with a new hope and a new challenge. And this is where his story begins.